से।
Problem here, we've been discussing before, I've talked on the TV many times, that the way forward is to start working on the peripheral and work your way into the red lines. So you have some form of confidence building between the two countries. And that way you can agree on certain issues and slowly work towards the red lines. Problem right now is everybody's working on the red lines and nobody's willing to commit to anything. And they're very absolutist and binary on each side. Maqsad, they don't want to give anything. Now, the problem here is Iran, as Rizwan Saab said, it's an existential issue. They want to resolve this issue for once and for all. And they don't want another crisis next year when Israel goads America into another war. When there's substantial time leeway, they're going to continue to do this, and they're going to be spoilers continuously in this respect. And they're doing this constantly. They disagree with the peace talks, but they have to fall in line with the United States, because at the end of the day, that's a benefactor. And there's a lot of pressure on Trump. He doesn't want to give way to anything. And when you have both sides absolutely intransigent and just focus on the red lines completely, there's no leeway, there's no agreement, and there's no willingness to give way. That's where the problem lies. The problem lies in the fact that public perception and optics, as you know, the media will highlight certain issues in Iran or in the United States and the West, and each side would feel that they're looking like they're backing down, and they cannot back down, especially Iran, because it was an illegal war on Iran by an aggressor country or two aggressor countries.
Right.
And this is where Donald Trump feels that if he backs down and doesn't achieve the war objectives in the first place, he is going to have failed. He has immense pressure already building, and much of the public agrees that he has already lost a war. But he wants to fulfill the final criteria to achieve it, because he will be known from here on in history that he has failed in a war that he actually started. And so the pressure's on him within the party, within his MAGA base, and future elections, and actually the midterms. Highly likely he's going to fail in those. And he's primarily thinking on that. But the closer this comes to the timeline, which he does not achieve any resolution, more likely he will lose. And so the pressure is really on Trump to make Iran back down. It's a game of chicken. As two cars are approaching, who will blink first?
Yeah.
This is where the problem lies.
Exactly. डॉक्टर साहब, आपका पॉइंट आ गया कि ये सिचुएशन जो है बिल्कुल यही बनी हुई है और दोनों साइड्स जो हैं वो यही देख रही हैं कि हु ब्लिंक्स। आप किस तरह से एनालाइज करते हैं ट्रंप की इस मौजूदा सिचुएशन को और चाइना समिट को आप किस तरह से देख रहे हैं?
Well, let's understand one thing. Foreign Minister Rakji came to China, and he had a outstanding state visit welcome. He was lauded beyond his position, in fact, like a state leader. And he was received very, very well by especially Wang Yi, the foreign minister in China. Now, you've got to look at the relationship between the United States and China as two large powers, and the relation between Iran and China for many decades now has been a very strong relationship. In fact, I think we all know that China's been helping Iran in one way or another, but not overtly. I said in some programs before that China has been using back channels many times, and it's using this. And I think this will be an overt meeting between Xi Jinping and Donald Trump, where they'll come across an understanding, and China is going to play it straight. It doesn't need to do back channel anymore. He will talk to him in a direct manner, I think. But this is more than just the Iran war. That will be heightened, no doubt. But there's a lot of trade issues that America is imposing on China, and tariffs and vice versa as a reaction. And it's a test of wills on the economic power and the future global geostrategic environment, where there's a contest. So they're going to talk about good things to produce a good environment. And I think Donald Trump, I think Rizwan Saab is absolutely correct. There'll be a change of heart in what happens when the meeting occurs. But fundamentally, this is a matter of talking and directly. And this is where Iran has the upper hand with China. And I think when you look at the future global environment, Iran winning this war in real terms by surviving the attack and maintaining integrity and its sovereignty is very, very important because they don't want to set a precedent to other countries. America is already looking at Cuba for many other reasons. So, America is on a different warpath. Their idea of retracting from Europe and other places to concentrate on the Western Hemisphere under the Monroe Doctrine, which Donald Trump has said is a Donroe Doctrine. It's a new idea, apparently,
Exactly.
but it's not. The idea is that this is a fallacy as well. It's a form of strategic play to make out as if they're not going, but in the end, there's an outreach.
True.
This is a declining international power that China is filling the vacuum, and China is taking the lead in many things now. So we have to recognize there's a lot of geopolitical understanding here between both sides. Donald Trump is the figurehead, but the establishment in the United States does run the show. And what they want really is what happens. And that's why Donald Trump doesn't want to lose space within the establishment as well. True. Because that would dictate terms for the midterms and here on, as far as America is concerned. America is under crisis because of this ad hoc war that came into being because of pressure from the Zionist state of Israel and the Zionist leader who's trying everything possible to undermine Pakistan, by the way, and undermine Pakistan's credibility, along with India undermining it. They're both hand in hand with this. And they're trying to put impressions on, especially the CBS report that came out recently today.
Yeah.
About Pakistan as a mediator to undermine the whole peace process so that America would go and finish it. America can't do this now. It can't afford to do this, realizing this is a war they didn't calibrate on. Iran successfully thwarted the attack, and America had no idea what capacity Iran had. This is not about favoring Iran. This is a strategic reality, and it's an objective opinion of many analysts around the world, in America as well, and Europe. The fact is, Iran has generally been seen as winning this war, and it's a matter of saving face for Donald Trump, and it's a dire reality. But I think he will come and calm down as far as China is concerned. I think it's very important that he realizes there's going to be additional pressures played there. And I think that we have to see what happens because nobody really knows what's going to happen. That in the middle of the night at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, he's tweeting the end of the world. So we don't know what will happen. But Iran is standing strong. There's a reason for that. It's an existential crisis for them. They have the long-term issues in mind, and they can win this in many ways by waiting it out to some extent. And America cannot.
Point taken. के साथ मखदूम साहब को इजाजत दीजिए। अल्लाह निगहबान। पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद।